never vlogged before, so this is the first vlog ever, introduction vlog. It's going to be a daily thing. I'm going to try and do pretty long form, maybe 30 to 60-minute range for videos. Keep it pretty authentic and unedited. A little bit of editing, but at least for now, just going to keep it more vlog style, without too much cuts and stuff like that. I think there's enough of that. Also, you can find any attraction you want to go to or tourist thing to go to. I'm probably not going to be doing much of that. I don't really like to go see every little tourist attraction like in Pattaya or something like that. I kind of just get into my daily routine, but I moved here as a tattoo artist. I was tattooing in New York for the last 5 years or so. Doing well, quite well, especially through COVID, and through its peak was crazy. But it doesn't mean that I wanted to stay there or was happy there or anything like that. So I wanted to trade all that to see if I could enjoy living here, living more, having more freedom and find ways to make money online. So that's where vlogging comes in. Long term, I'd like to make it some kind of money-making thing, some kind of my main source of income, so to speak, or one of them. Right now, I'm selling my designs for other tattooers to tattoo. I'm working with some tattooers in New York, just so I can still book, make some money, sustain myself. But I came with little to nothing, $600, $500, if that, and a place booked for a month. Didn't even have full intention of staying here originally, and then the plan now is that I'm not going back to the US. So we'll figure it out, and you will see me figuring it out and be documenting it. So let's see what happens. I assume that through vlogging, it will probably actually start to shape where I'm going, and maybe I'll have incentives to go some places or to stay one place, because I find my viewers like that. I know I always enjoy watching Thailand content. I enjoy watching people in Thailand, in Pattaya, and Bangkok, or whatever, doing whatever. Except I don't like certain styles of those videos, and so I'm going to avoid those big cheesy productions or just cheesy style, of editing and music, and hearing the same song in all the videos. And so I'm not trying to trash anybody. It's part of why I want to do this. I want to do more channels that I enjoy, just feels like I'm hanging out with somebody, feels like I'm more so just following somebody's day-to-day life. That for me is better. And so I think that's, for now, that's the plan. I have no real plan of I'm doing this kind of content, or I'm taking you here, but I'm gonna take the camera around, just learning how to shoot, and for now, hope the camera's recording. It's my little introduction. You'll get to know me a lot more through the videos, but let's do it. So I literally have 15 kilos, 20 kilos of laundry to do, and I'm just gonna go buy socks, shorts. I think that's all I need, but it's 50 baht for the shorts, $1.50. Socks are probably $1 or less a pair, so just grab a few of each to hold me over. I don't have enough space to hang so many clothes, so this is my problem. It's building up faster than I can even like dry them. But it is really sunny now, so it's definitely getting easier. But still, I think I'm gonna have to just get it all done pretty quickly. Okay, I'll figure out what we're gonna do today. Just gonna stop home, and yeah, let's see. There's just a lot of bars on this street. It's like, the whole street. So any normal hours that you come outside, you walk on the street, it's just a lot to live on a street like that. I don't think it's not ideal, at least for me. I don't drink, I don't go to bars, and so it doesn't feel like it makes a ton of sense. But as a first spot for now, perfectly fine. I also have good access to everything. But yeah, I learned from it. I'll look for quiet, like, streets from now on. Alright. Decided to walk to the gym today. Usually take the motorbike, take the scooter, but I also usually go for a walk in the morning when I get up, probably like 40 minutes, 1 hour, and I didn't do that, so it's like 35 minutes each way, probably 40 minutes walking to the gym, so good warm up. Walking home sucks more, but should be fine. Trying to keep a really consistent gym routine here, eating super healthy, trying to get in the best shape that I can and improve my mental health, my physical health overall. I definitely have these things in line in New York, but it's much easier to slip. It's much harder to stay consistent. The sun is not there, so it's a big deal for me. Just in 2 weeks, I feel like I've made good strides with my diet and exercise regimen. Definitely not going to see me eating out. Not going to see, I don't eat out at all. I just cook all of my food. Mostly because I have tons of food allergies, tons of issues with inflammation, autoimmune issues with all sorts of foods. So I am just eating meat right now, doing a carnivore diet, animal-based diet. At times in New York, I was even doing what's called the lion diet. It's just all beef. And my body thrives on that. It's not as easy to do that in Thailand because of the quality of the beef, the cost of good quality imported beef. It doesn't make as much sense. So I'm definitely doing chicken, pork, more pork than I ever thought that I'd probably do, but my body is reacting well to it and I feel good. So I'm gonna limit it. I don't want to eat predominantly pork, but yeah, I've given myself more leniency on eating all different types of meat and maybe a little seafood, and my body is reacting well. In the past, I don't know, sometimes it's hard to figure out what I can tolerate and what foods I can't, and so it's like a never-ending quest to do that. But it also keeps me very fit. I can get fit quite easily eating just meat. The lack of carbs, no sugar, mainly just lack of carbs. I'm not holding on to a bunch of bloat and water. If I eat carbs, I'm just bloated. I'm heavier. I think I can survive okay if I do eat a bit of carbs, if I'm careful, if I'm certain vegetables, maybe avocado, things like that, but definitely never having grains, no rice or pasta. That's just for me personally, it doesn't affect me well. And for years, I mean, growing up, I ate everything. Definitely part of what caused the issue is that I would binge eat, everything, ice cream, after my big pasta dish with cheese and just tons of fast food, and just binging 10,000 calories, 20,000 calories in a day at times with no restraint, right? So that caused a bit of the issue. A lot of antibiotics I was taking like in those years because I kept just getting like tonsil issues, throat issues. So the combination of those just like destroyed my gut, the balance, the flora. It's not, and people will tell me like, oh, have you tried a probiotic? Have you, it's like telling somebody with like some crazy severe insomnia, like, oh, you just have to take some melatonin. I mean, I think it's far past that, or it's a complex issue now after so long. So here I am, I'm doing a carnivore diet, and it works for now. It works well. Research it, but don't knock it too much before you do a little research on just like low carb, no carb style stuff, because it's not as toxic as you would think, or toxic at all, or unhealthy. People reverse disease, reverse obesity, and all sorts of disease, diabetes, everything with this carnivore diet. So yeah, it's the only thing that I don't have consistent autoimmune issues. Yeah, so I am very pro meat, opposite of vegan. I'm just taking a walk on the beach right now, along the beach, along Jomtien Beach. I want to see if I have mic issues out here where there's wind, there's cars, but it doesn't seem too loud over here, so it should be okay. Do want to get a bit of water. I have some hydration issues. I drink a lot of water. So I get out in the sun, I get out in the heat. My mouth's dry. Now I'm talking nonstop. And I can see this being a recurring freaking thing. I need to have water on my person at all times. So I'm going to show you a little bit around. I mean, I don't really know how many of you are kind of newer to Thailand, kind of know Thailand, kind of know Pattaya. I don't really know. I think it's going to be a good mix, so I'll probably start watching vlogs with a little bit more thought about, like, what is this person doing? How is this person filming and using editing and things like this? So for now, just kind of wing it, but it's fine. The gym that I go to here is, for me, it's one of my favorite gyms. So I'm gonna go in 7-Eleven, get that water, and continue this. So I always go for the water that's not refrigerated. It just digests better, it's better for your body. But every 7-Eleven here is set up differently, different layout. I mean, if you're going for the refrigerator, you know where it is, but they all put the non-refrigerated water bottles in different spots, just set up differently. So, or they don't have them. There's probably half of the 7-Elevens just don't have the single bottles out like that, and so it's interesting. I gotta go in there and I kind of have to really like gaze around the whole store it's a thing, but I got it and we're good. This is Dongtan Beach, Dongtan. I don't know how to say that. In between Jomtien and Pattaya. Kind of nice. I've always kind of liked this little stretch to walk in the morning. You know, you don't get hassled over here. You don't have women calling out to you for boom boom, which is nice. You know, fine if I walk the other way, like into Jomtien, because I get up early sometimes. I'm walking maybe at 4 a.m. sometimes 5, 6 a.m. And especially on the weekends, you know, that's when they're out and calling at you. So I've always liked the Dongtan Beach. Yeah, not too much actual residencies in here. It's more like resorts and hotel style, and anything like new I feel like they built over here is very expensive and kind of now catering toward a more Russian clientele. That's kind of who stacks up the beach over here. It's mostly Russian. I mean, same in Jomtien. I mean, probably same over in Pattaya Beach too, but I think less. But yeah, they love Pratumnak Hill area. And just like over here, so like Cozy Beach, same thing in that area. And so that's a big reason the prices are increasing. Any nice condos, any like nice place, because now there's a market. There's enough people. There's enough like Russians who's moved here to take it. You know, I'm sure there's positives and there's negatives to that. I think, you know, I read a lot like on Reddit and stuff, and I think it's even more so in Phuket happening. But I mean, for me it's not a problem. I don't care. You know, maybe it can feel weird if somebody's living in an area, like especially somebody who's not Russian and they only have Russians around them. But still, I mean, you kind of got to do your research, know where you're moving to. I think it's the same if you're moving to an area that's all Thai or all, you know, anything with a language you don't speak. You're gonna feel a little alienated. And different cultures can be more accepting than others with people, but I think you just, go and be respectful to everyone, and everybody is respectful back. That's my experience here. You know, of course there is some bozos who are not, but like, it doesn't really matter. You know, there's going to be a lot of idiots in Thailand that you'll come across as well, expats, tourists, whatever. You just kind of have to, you accept it or you recognize it. Same way that in the US, like, there is an equivalent amount of idiots, so. Yeah, just as many people who are not. It is a really nice day, great weather. I mean, we've had good weather now for, I think, the last week. When I first arrived, there was like no sunlight the first whole week that I was here. Just like none, you know, and couldn't dry my clothes. I had just come from New York, like a crazy long flight, and I was just craving the sun. You know, I was gonna stay in Bangkok originally, and I decided like immediately, let me get to the beach, or around the beach, and sunny area. But now it's here. High season is here. And you could tell, I feel like every day it's, you know, even compared to the weekend now where it's like Tuesday, still busy, or seemingly like the beach is even busier. So I think it's like a sign of, things just kicking into gear for high season. Prices are definitely higher for rentals and stuff. I rented a spot for 1 month and I paid like Airbnb price, you know, it's like 300 and between 350 and 400 US for a month for a decent spot with a good view. I think that's like the selling point of it. I can, you know, I have a good sea view. Otherwise, I would say it's not worth it to pay that much. I know they have units, they charge like 8,000 or something baht, so like 200 to 250 if you actually like do it long term. But you also pay for the short term Airbnb. It's, you know, you just kind of have to accept that. I feel like you can always get in Airbnb, even if you want to Airbnb for a couple days, and then as long as you're not an idiot, you know, if you're a good tenant, you can kind of talk to them, be friendly with them, and tell them like, hey, I'm looking for a long-term spot. I don't want to pay Airbnb prices. And almost always they, you know, have other units or have multiple places and can kind of set you up with something. Sometimes they're not going to just, oftentimes they're not just going to rent you that same spot, because they, especially in high season, they can get more money on Airbnb, or people are going to book it. So, you know, you can't expect they're going to give you a deal and just lose money. But I find a lot of them just have multiple units, different condos, different multiple buildings, and like have availabilities. And yeah, we'll usually set you up with something. You pay cash, and you know, you get a much better rate, much closer to what the condo is going to charge. I've never done like a 12-month lease here. I've never like had a set, like I want to commit for 1 year to stay here yet, or figured it out with a visa to do it. I mean, I know you can come in and out quite a bit. I know it's getting more difficult, and so I don't know how much of the year you actually need to be out of the country. Probably a few months of the year. I think 3 to 6, at least 3 months of the year. I think that, you know, between the land travel, the land runs, and the flight runs, I think there's just a limit that will stop you from being here the whole year. But I don't know the details exactly. I forget the details. I think 2 land runs, you know, two extensions with flights, something like that. But I do plan on spending some time. Like, I'd like to go to Da Nang. I'd like to go to Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. I'd like to go to, I would probably check out Hanoi as well, and some other spots. Maybe go to some lesser known spots. I think I am starting to crave like a little bit of less touristy areas, and you know, feel like I would probably get bored on an island for long term, or somewhere too quiet. But at the moment, I think I could do it and would like it. After the long period in New York, I think like I don't need too much stimulation right now. I don't need much. And so I probably will go through phases of like, oh, maybe I have a few months of really just reeling it in and not doing much. But then I will start to crave it, you know, and maybe I'll want to be in Bangkok. I could be in Bangkok right now also. You know, I do love it there. And the only reason that I'm not is just because of what I'm saying, you know, just being in New York for so long. But ultimately, that might be where I end up trying to reside, like, long term. Especially if I decide to start tattooing again. I think it's a good base. And I could potentially, you know, travel to other spots in Asia. Could travel to Australia and do tattoo appointments there. There's definitely not much tattoo work. Little to no tattoo work in Thailand, in Bangkok. For guest artists, I think even for locals, unless you're really established, maybe even if you're extra, if you have something really special, you know. I mean, I have like 40-something thousand followers on Instagram. Probably like 25% of those are from New York. Then the rest is scattered. Next is probably Germany, like Berlin and Mexico City. I have a following in there a bit, but it's like a fraction of the rest. But I would also be okay with taking a long period off of tattooing. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'll return to it. I was just having a lot of mental health problems, having panic, anxiety issues in general, especially with people and with like having to meet clients. It's tough. So I think for now, if I can find other ways to make money and like build a sustainable some businesses, side incomes, things like that, even if it's just vlogging and having other tattooers do my designs, it's a good setup, and I can build on that. So I'm not too worried. It's a big change, huge change. For the past 5 years, it's kind of mostly what I've known is like tattooing, and kind of working to improve that, and thinking like all I want to do is that. And part of me misses it big time. But I think already I can tell just in 2 weeks and daily the way that I feel that I need a different pace of life than what New York was able to offer me. Like the financial responsibility is crazy there, to have this financial responsibility every month with like constantly changing amounts of work and income, and it's a little bit much. The financial overhead you have here every month, it's not scary for anyone. And that's the only reason I came with nothing, with so little, is because I just know myself, like my ability to generate some income, and I know like what's required here, and yeah, it's a much more stress-free, less stress life for now. I'm only 31 years old, so I'm not retired. I'm not in a retirement phase yet. And so it's, I have the thoughts of like, and I have for the past years, of like, is it worth moving there? Or is it something that I should even do right now? Should I grind for 10 years in New York, retire even at 50, something like that, I'd love to retire at 50. That'd be great. But I'm not gonna, sacrifice being miserable the next however many years. So figuring out a good solution for having the freedom, but also being able to make an income and maybe tattoo a little bit, that's the ultimate goal. Let's see. Time goes by quicker when I'm vlogging on this walk, I'll say that. Like exponentially quicker. There's a lot of people out. It's early. I thought about trying even some other parts of Thailand I've never been. I've only really spent time in Pattaya and Bangkok. I've probably been here, maybe this is my 5th time. I think this is my 5th time like ever coming here. The first time I came was during COVID. I think maybe 4 years ago, so not super long. Before that I spent time in Bali for like a year and a half, close to 2 years, like more around 2017 or something. And so of course I've thought about going to Bali. That's a good alternative to here. It just has become like so expensive comparable to what it was and to here, and I don't know. I'm a little on the fence about like how like Canggu has developed, and so I am going to go check it out. And I still, I have these really strong feelings toward Bali. It's the first country I lived in Southeast Asia, first like experience of that I've had. And so I'll have to go back and see how much of it is that. But I do think parts of it, like the food and I think the social scene, some of it may be garbage, but I think there's more of like a social thing there, and ability to make friends. Quite a bit of young people. I'd say like Pattaya especially is generally like a more older demographic. Like I'm definitely I'm 31 and I'm one of the more young people around, young guys around, maybe like Western guys at least. Which is fine, but I don't think that's like, it's just not an ideal permanent thing for me. I get along well with people a bit older, but I also like to have friends my age, meet, women who are non-working girls. That's another big thing, is like dating in Pattaya is not, it's not great. It's not great. It's just Tinder. It's like, for example, it's just too mixed with freelancers, working girls, predominantly going to be that. And so even in Bangkok, it's like that, but less. But it just makes it a little difficult, and it makes it more exhausting, and makes me less like even interested in doing it at all. So I find when I'm here, definitely will go through periods of like not dating, right? Not even getting out there, and then maybe the opposite for 2 weeks or whatever it is. But then almost always I burn out on dating here, and just find that I'm better managing my time and everything when I pull back. But that's something that in Bali in general I think it is better, like dating scene, younger dating scene. I'm not that young, but and so I would like to go check out the landscape there, see how it feels there now, me being older, and it has changed so much. I do hear there's just such an amount of traffic and construction and stuff there. So if I can go in and avoid that, maybe stay outside of the real craziness, and still manage to like pay a decent price for a place. What I find there is it's not really condos in the same way. It's not like you can't get a place with like a sea view balcony and pay like $250 to $400 for it a month. It's not possible. It's more like guest houses with a room. You're in a room. Sometimes I feel like oftentimes there's no window. It's too depressing of a home, of a place to go back to all the time. I spend a lot of time on the computer, or let's go on YouTube if I'm in my place, but like I need to have maybe some sunlight, windows, a balcony, a view. It really helps. It's huge for like staying happy and actually enjoying time there and making it feel like, okay, this is a good decision. I feel like that can change quite easily, if you don't have the right spot. So that's loud. Almost to the gym. 22 minutes. I guess I've only been filming for 21 minutes. I swear Google Maps says it's a 40-minute walk. I'm not walking that fast. Yeah, we're at 21 minutes recording time. I mean, even if I didn't start recording the second I left. God, that sound. Okay. Yeah, that's quicker than I thought, but I don't think I'm gonna record my workout. It's not really gonna be like a fitness channel. You know, maybe at points I'll put clips in some of my vlogs, maybe of like, just because it's part of my day. But I don't want to get too, you know, showing the workouts, the form, the exercises. I don't think that's necessary. You know, if I find out you guys will end up wanting to see some of that, let me know. But for now, it's not part of the program. All right, well, that was easy. That was the easiest walk of my life, to be honest. Energy levels are good today. Some days levels have been less than others. I think I am finally now evened out with the with the time difference and the crazy long flight. That messes me up for a while, minimum 1 week, so I think this time was even longer. But now I feel good, I feel stabilized. My sleep is improved and better. You know, not smoking as much. I was smoking a lot in New York, cannabis, and here much less actually, so it's better, much easier to balance for me here. All right, I'm gonna catch a little workout. I'll see you guys soon. Do some sled pulls, pushes. Just finished at the gym. Had already forgotten that I didn't have my scooter. About to jump on it and drive home, but got a little walk home. I am exhausted, I will say. Yeah, I've been training hard, and you know, also with going for walks an hour to an hour and a half a day, probably more between just like walking places as well sometimes. Trying to just not sit at home so much. You know, I went from being very sedentary in New York to just intentionally not being sedentary here, so that when I want to sit down at home for a bit and watch something, it's not like I'm feeling guilty because I'm constantly doing that or constantly sitting down, tattooing, whatever. And yeah, I just feel better. You know, my body doesn't hurt so much, if at all now, so that's good. Also, I feel like getting sun every day, like a lot of sun, is very helpful. Healing, or, you know, everything. It's good for the body. Vitamin D, good for the gut, you know, the balance of your gut. You know, the sun is proven to help with that. And I mean, I'm definitely never getting sun like directly on my stomach in New York. Like, even when it's middle of summer and the sun is out, I'm not walking around shirtless, and so yeah, like most of the body never sees the sun. I mean, I barely even was getting like sun on my face at that point in New York, so, and I left beginning of November, so it would have only gotten worse. It's just about to be winter. I mean, last winter in New York was not bad. It was like the warmest winter ever, to the point that it was, you know, weird and gives you feelings of, or you hear people talking about, oh, well, that's global warming. That's, you know, I don't know anything, but it definitely seemed a bit strange that it was relatively warm all winter. It didn't get too bad, but see if that continues over the next years. It can maybe continues to get, worse, whatever. I don't know. Just came out here for a moment. I like this little area by the beach, by the gym. It's not so crowded. It's always very quiet over here. People fishing in the morning. Like I'm the loudest one over here at this point now. But yeah, nice little spot to come over and just hang out a bit. Well, I'm not really gonna go walk around like I usually do. I may as well just start walking home. So tiring myself out over here and getting too much sun, Also have to balance the amount of sun I'm getting so I don't get burned and whatever. I don't really burn very easily. Like I would have to go out at noon, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. and really just bake in the sun to get burnt. Especially now that I've been here for a little bit and getting sun every day. I'm past at least the first, like 1 or 2 needing to be careful days, really careful, so it's good. I'm Irish, Italian, German, with super fair skin, very pale skin in general. Can't tell as much now, but when I came here, I was definitely kind of ghostly. Yeah. I don't know if I'll record this whole walk home. No, I don't want to. I do want to do long videos. I think people want to see long videos. Some people will put it in the background. Some people will just listen. Some people like to watch. Yeah, I think long video is the way to go. But I don't want to do too much of the same. So probably cut the walk a little bit. Try and get a little bit more into the video, something else. But either way, it doesn't matter. I'm just kind of showing you my day in general, which sometimes may not consist of like a ton, but regardless of shooting, I've still been trying to get out there anyway, so I don't think there'll be a lack of content to be made. A lot of people out now, quite a lot of people out. I mean, the water over here, I swam in it before. It's definitely dirty, and I feel like the locals don't really swim in it. Some, but not really. There's too much sewage in the water. I mean, you walk around in Pattaya, you walk around in Jomtien, you smell sewage. There's clearly a sewage issue. And that goes into the water. So, you're swimming in shit, But if you don't think about it too much, or you just recognize, the levels are low enough that I can just shower after and it's whatever, or you just don't think about it, but it's not the best. There's all kinds of organisms in the water too, that if you're a little bit sensitive like me or have immune issues, it's another thing. You don't want to invite too much foreign bacteria, amoebas into the body if it's not necessary. So. But it is nice to get out in the water, especially when it's super hot. There's Koh Larn is pretty close. I thought about a day trip there, just to swim a bit, maybe go to Koh Chang, Definitely like to go to Koh Chang for a few days, just chill out, swim in the water. We'll see. For now, since my finances are not great, I haven't been thinking too much about like day trips or any type of trip. So I want to build my finances a little bit. I am making enough now to like survive and maybe save a little bit. We'll see. I don't know. It's not really anything super consistent, and I'm sort of figuring out how many tattoos I can book in a month that somebody else can do the tattoo. I'm taking like a third of the total for making the design and doing the booking essentially. I would like to say that I could make at the, in the bare minimum, I'm doing 1,500. I think I can do $1,500 to $2,000 a month, which, I'm finding is actually very easy to live on if I'm just a little careful with what I'm buying, like the food I'm buying. I mean, pork and chicken is cheap. Even if I'm eating beef as well, like ground beef, it's not that expensive. Ground beef even is almost the same as the US. It's like you're paying $10 for here you're paying $10 for a kilo. I would pay $10 for ground beef in the States for a pound, for half of the amount. So different quality though. I mean, if you try to get organic grass-fed beef here, I think then you're going to pay more. But that's the one reason I would want to spend, a big reason I want to spend time in Bangkok or be in Bangkok is access to like high quality meats, and just food, health stuff in general, and high quality just services, just everything, Bangkok is going to be the best for that. You're going to pay for it, but I think I'm used to having luxuries like New York, and Bangkok is definitely the closest thing to that. I might want to stay in Bangkok and take the trips, like weekend trips out, as opposed to doing the other way around, where I'm kind of taking trips to Bangkok. It seems more sensible to be in the city as the home base. But then again, I am really enjoying being near the beach day to day and having that kind of lifestyle, especially because I don't go to bars. I don't party. In the past, I definitely have like a very wild like history, just like a lot of partying through my, for enough years. So I think that's why I'm sort of on the other end of it now, but yeah, I think if that was such a draw for me, maybe Pattaya would be bad. Maybe, I think that's some of the reason a lot of people don't live here, is that most people drink. A lot of people who come to Thailand, they at least drink beer on a regular basis or whatever. So yeah, I could imagine that being difficult. There's a lot of draw. You start making friends who are going out all the time. You have a lot of time here. So, but since it's not a thing for me, I don't think, I don't have to even think about that in regards to Pattaya specifically. Yeah, and then I do think about other places that could work as well long term that are beachside, that are not Pattaya. And so for me, it's like the cost to what you get here, mostly for the condo, is like the selling point. The beaches are obviously really whatever. It can be a bit dirty and not trashy, but like, a little bit of element of like trashiness to it compared to a lot of other beach places. I don't want to say it reminds me of the Jersey Shore, but growing up going to New Jersey beaches and shore points, it reminds me of that, or maybe that's why there's a comfort there. I'm not used to like pristine fanciness in my beaches or anything like that, and so, or amongst the demographic or the people around, it's really mixed here, and I think it's comfortable for me. But part of me also thinks like, I could do somewhere that is nicer, more clean. Like I was saying earlier, just like maybe younger people, it's like different place that attracts a bit of a different crowd, for longevity, making friends. But it's a good place to spend some time, save money, whatever. Just live. It's not bad by any means. The fact that I've already, feel better here than in New York. I mean, I think that it's only going to go. It's only going up from here. Of course, somewhere can get stale. That's another thing. I think I am the type of person where one place gets stale. Living in New York, I definitely always like to leave every few months, couple months, get out and take a trip. When financially it was not an issue, no problem. That was a nice setup. I didn't really get burnt out so much on New York when I can leave. When I could go to Thailand for a month and come back, feel very refreshed. It's a whole different thing. But staying in one place, I think the last time I left New York was maybe like 8 or 9 months before leaving this time. And that was like the longest, and as long as I can remember, that I stayed put, stayed in the city like that. So before that, before COVID, before I was tattooing, I did digital marketing. I was just doing freelance marketing most of my life online. And I was traveling. I was moving around. I went to Bali for a while. I was in Berlin for a while, almost 2 years. Just kind of moving around, and I really liked that lifestyle for a while. And I think I actually got burnt out on doing that for too long, for maybe 9-10 years. And started to crave a stable, like a home, having stuff somewhere, not always having to figure out visa stuff, and I felt like I was ready to not do that for a while. But now, I'm on the other side of it again. I think I'm craving that, and the thought of traveling or flying around, maybe going to a different country every month for a little bit, is not, right now that sounds cool, that sounds good. I haven't built any real relationships here yet, and so yeah, why not? It can be stressful, thinking too much about where to go and researching places and cities and watching videos about a place, and it could be like this decision fatigue that then you start to get stressed, and you're like, well, I don't want this to be, this is not what this should be. It should be a freedom feeling of I get to choose this place. But that's a little bit of a balancing act too. So I'm thinking about it, not thinking too much about it. I think this time I will extend 30 days. I need to do that soon. I need to do that within a week, or I should do that this week. And then from there, sort it out. I don't even think after my month is up at this condo, that's the decision now. I think I'm gonna go to Bangkok, just see how that feels for a month right now. I think the temperatures are down, so won't feel too bad not being by the water. Let's see. Well, I ended up recording a lot of this walk, but I'm gonna cut it for a moment. Now my arm is tired holding this after working out. Are you kidding me? God. Wow, I'm gonna have to hire somebody to hold this camera stick and just walk next to me. I mean, I guess there's a video person. I guess that's a thing, but probably just do this for now. Okay, anyways, I will see you guys in a bit. Gonna go home and probably take a shower, maybe figure out something to eat. Definitely a strong obesity culture here in Pattaya, here in Jomtien, you know, along the beaches. It's you know, it's a little bit alarming. Just like, it really stands out to me, but I'm not shaming anybody, but there's just it's a heavy set culture happening here. That it's interesting. It's different. Maybe you see that in a lot of like cheaper vacation areas. I think overall, I don't know. Got some pork belly that I'm gonna cook. I just cook everything with salt, no pepper, no spices or herbs. I was trying some like ginger powder, lemongrass, garlic, onion, things that I've known don't agree with me in the past, but just trying one by one, but it doesn't seem great, so back to just salt. Usually I cook with beef tallow, but it's hard to get here, so I'm just using like unrefined coconut oil. Once I get to Bangkok, I can actually get beef tallow. I could also order it from Bangkok, but I think I'm just gonna wait until I actually get there and buy the stuff like that I need. Yeah, all right, gonna cook this and see where we're at. Get that pork belly, standard meal, just a bunch of meat with salt. Very good. Gonna eat this now. I'm done eating. I'm gonna chill out for a bit on the laptop. Maybe watch a little something. Watch little vlogs. Got vlogging a dead horse, legend inspiration, vlogging inspiration. If you don't follow Vlogging a Dead Horse, go check him out. I'm gonna watch a little bit, catch up later. It's now many hours later, like 7 o'clock at night. Just went to the dispensary. I went to get food, groceries, went and got a massage, which was not good. Just kind of chose one at random. I usually like to go to a specific place, and this was just not great. It's okay. I'll pick this back up tomorrow. I'm gonna end the vlog though. I'm gonna try and do one a day. I think if I can be consistent with doing it every day, that's gonna help a lot. It's gonna get me more viewers. It's gonna, build a community faster. So even if I don't have, seemingly a ton to vlog about every day, I think try and make it interesting. Try and find things to do until I, get to travel and move around a little bit. But this was good. Good first vlog. Hope you guys liked it, and let me know in the comments anything you think, if you have ideas or whatever. But I'll see you next time.